Hi, Andrew Block here at GoblinHQ Incorporated, and we today, or rather me today, I'm just going to do a solo run through of Dune Imperium, a worker placement deck building game that's been out for a year or so, and one that I find quite enjoyable, even at the solo level. So join me today. So, welcome to Dune Imperium. If you hear a slight hum or buzzing in the background, that is not my audio equipment, that is my swamp cooler going. It is getting quite toasty inside the area where I play my games, so I needed to cool off a bit. So this game takes up a little bit of table real estate, so you can't see everything, especially everything over here, but I'm going to give a very brief overview on how to play. I'm not going to go too in depth. If you want to figure out how to play the game, the best way to do it is to find several other how to play videos on the on YouTube or other places like that. I know Rodney over on Watch It Played, not connected to this channel at all in any means. I don't know him at all. He does a fantastic job of explaining how to play this game. So just like any other worker placement game, you are taking your workers, represented by these little guys right here, and going to several different spots on the board in order to collect resources to eventually earn points and win the game. Now, this game is unique. As I said earlier, it is also a deck builder. You're going to be collecting cards from a market over here. You're going to be buying cards from a market in order to further your agenda, because cards determine where you can place your workers. There's little icons along the side of the cards that determine which spots you can send your workers. Some spots have costs, and that's about all I'm going to go into about that on how to play. I am playing the solo variant, which means I actually have two rivals, two AI players that are determined how they act by this deck. Now, there's an app you can download from what is it, Direwolf Digital, the people who make the game, that handle this as well, but it's just as good, if not a tiny bit better than the deck. I'm using the deck right now to just have a little more, because it's just basically the cards in digital form, so it's not any real different. So my rivals are Earl Memnon Thorvald. Now, if I remember my Dune correctly, I just finished the book about 6 months ago, but he is actually a pretty big player in the end game of Dune. And Glossu the Beast Raban, he is one of the nephews of Baron Vlad Harkonnen, so he is a member of House Harkonnen. Now, all the artwork and stuff of this particular game is going to be based on the upcoming movie Dune 2021, which I personally am looking forward to. It's supposed to be a pretty faithful adaptation of the book, which, in all honesty, the 1984 David Lynch movie isn't too bad a faithful adaptation of the book. They did what they could with what they had. You know, it is pretty atrocious in some spots. but you know, given the limitations of the time. So you might pick up on how to play this as I go through. The core game doesn't really change in solo mode, from solo mode to main mode, except for a few different things. One, the rivals are going to be acting as determined by the AI deck right here, and the Mentat space, which normally costs you 2 Solari, which is one of the resources we have available to us, now costs 5. And because the AI doesn't spend resources to go to their spaces like a normal player would, they have a trade-in mechanic. Once they accumulate a certain amount of certain resources, of spice, which is another resource we have, or water, another resource, or even intrigue cards, because they can't actively play their intrigue cards, they trade them in and they get a point on the track. Now, once 10 points have been reached, and then the round ends, that's the end of the game. So it's not like other worker placements where you just keep going and going and going and accumulate a crap ton of points, and then once a certain number of rounds have passed, you just total up, you know, how many points, and then whoever has the most points win. Once 10 points have been reached, that's the end of the game. Or the conflict deck right here, which determines what's at stake in the battle, empties, the game is in. The game is over. So, with that being said, and my very kind of rambly explanation of what's going on, we'll go ahead and just get started. So the first thing we do at round start, which is phase 1, is we're going to reveal our first conflict. Now, I know things are a little difficult for you to see, so our first conflict, we have, if we were playing a 4-player game, all 3 prizes would be available. Conflict cards have 3 prizes available for the conflict, but since we're only playing technically a 3-player game, only 2 of our conflict prizes are available. And the first one there is 2 Solari and an increase in a faction. And the second place prize is 3 Solari, which is space money. Now the factions are these 4, is this whole side of the board right here, and it's divided into 4 different sections. And each section represents kind of an alliance with one of the 4 major factions of Dune. We have the Emperor right here, we have the Spacing Guild right here, the Bene Gesserit, and then the Fremen, which are the native peoples of Arrakis. And a faction increase means you go up on one of their alliance tracks, and you just move up 1 space. That is probably one of the easiest ways to gain victory points in this game. Once you attain second stage on any faction, you gain a victory point, and then once you gain 4, you gain the alliance token for that particular faction, which gets you another victory point. However, that particular token can be taken away from you by another player if they move higher than you on the alliance track. If you move all the way up in the alliance track, that token can no longer be taken from you, and you just own it for the rest of the game. And each time you go to one of that faction's specific spots, you move up 1 on the alliance track as well. And there are cards that will move you down a spot as well. So let's go ahead and get started. Now, the way the solo game works is I am playing Paul Atreides, so I have these set up in turn order. So the solo game works, one of your rivals goes first, and then the player would go, and then the last rival would go. And that's how the first round starts, and then the first player token would move in that particular order like that. So we're going to go ahead and get started with Earl Memnon Thorvald. He's going to go and he's going to go get this Harvest Spice card, which says send an agent to the space with the most bonus spice or total spice if tied. If no spaces have bonus spice, which they do not, which are these maker spaces right here, because we haven't gone to a maker space, maker phase yet. Reveal another card. So that card doesn't do anything. Next we go to Rally Troops, which is one of the Landsrad Council spaces up here at the top of the board, which is one of the most difficult ones for you to see. So we just simply take one of his colored tokens, and they don't have to pay costs for spice or anything like that. They just simply go there, and he goes there, and we just do whatever action is on the card. In this particular case, he gets 4 troops into his garrison, which is this spot right here. So this is Thorvald's garrison, this is the Beast's garrison, and this right here is my garrison. Now these garrisons aren't how many troops are actively participating in the battle. That would be determined by this big area with the X here, the swords. And I'll explain how to put troops in there once we get into a conflict zone. So after that, it will be my turn. I have my hand and my deck off screen right now just to help with the clutter. As you can see, we have a lot of stuff on screen right now. So see, I do not have a particularly good hand. Well, I don't have a bad hand per se. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to play this card right here, which is Seek Allies. And this card has faction symbols all along the side. It has a symbol for each one of the 4 factions. It doesn't have any other symbols for any other space, so I can only go to one of the 4 factions with this particular card. Now I have other cards in my hand that allow me to do other things, but I think I'm going to start off by trying to build my alliance with some of the factions. And I have Paul Atreides. I am green. Well, green was the color of the Atreides banner, so I figured it was kind of appropriate. Now, the question is, which one of these is probably the most beneficial to me? Most players, they generally like to start off with the Fremen, because in late game, actually at any point in this game, conflict is probably very crucial, and getting troops into your garrison and then into the conflict is probably crucial, because that's another way, probably the only other way to get victory points. And one of the best ways to do that, at least the most what's the word I'm looking for here, the word that's coming to my brain is profitable, but that's not what I mean. The way that's going to get you the most troops is these 2 spaces right here, Hardy Warriors and the Highliner. The only problem with the Highliner is that it costs you 6 spice to do that. So unless you're raking in a ton of spice, you're not going to be able to get the Highliner, or you have a lot of Spacing Guild cards, which there are a lot available in the market now that I'm looking at it. There's 2 space travel cards, so if I work on trying to get spice and then build up my Spacing Guild reputation, well, I don't need to build up my Spacing Guild reputation, because you're not prohibited from using Spacing Guild spots, but it would be nice to get those victory points soon. And fold space, this space right here, can give you a fold space card. This little symbol, it's a black rectangle with a little like red whirlpool in it. The fold space card that you get from it allows you to go to anywhere on the board You draw a card after you use it, but you have to trash it as well. Trashing a card means you remove it from the game. I don't know if it actually meant removing it from the game, or you put it back in the spacing fold space spot for other players to get one later. I don't know if that's a misprint or if that's how it's supposed to work. So I think I'm going to go with my original plan and go with the Fremen idea. So I'm going to go to Hardy Warriors. Now Hardy Warriors has a resource symbol underneath its faction symbol, which means it would cost me a resource in order to use this. This particular spot right here has a water drop under it, so it would cost me a water to use it. Now luckily everybody starts with 1 water, so I'm going to spend my water drop to use it. That will move me up 1 on the Fremen track, and it gives me 2 troops, and which will go directly into my garrison. And now this space has 2 swords in it. Now this is how you get troops from your garrison into the conflict. If you put a worker into a conflict space, which is denoted by the crossed swords, you can take any troops that you recruited from there and put them directly into the conflict. You can then also take up to 2 additional troops that you already have in your garrison and put them into the conflict as well. So my thought is this conflict worth going after? Increase in faction. I think it is. So I'm going to dump 2 troops, and I'd like to save some for later, so I'm only going to I'll take the 2 troops that I just put in there, and then for up to my 2 additional troops, I'm only going to take 1 for a total of 3 into the conflict. So now that these troops are in the conflict zone, this middle area, they are active participants in the current conflict. So they are bidding essentially for this conflict card. So that is my turn. And now we go to the next rival, which is the beast right here. And we'll reveal a card for him. Hall of Oratory. Just another space up here in the Lance Rat. So we take his worker, and he just goes automatically there. And he gets a single troop into his garrison. Now, these 2 spots right here are not conflict spots. When Thorvald went to rally troops, it was not a conflict spot because it does not have crossed swords. So he did not get to put any of those 4 troops, nor any additional troops, into the conflict. They had to go directly to his garrison, do not pass go, do not collect $200. But that means that he's got a bunch of troops ready to go for next turn. And the same with the Hall of Oratory. So we cycle back around to Thorvald, who gets another card. And he's going to go to Conspire, which is an Emperor spot. So he goes here. He gets to move up 1 on the Emperor track, according to the card, and he gets an additional 2 troops to his garrison. Again, it's not a conflict spot, so they just go directly into his garrison. He's got a total of 9 troops just sitting around in his garrison. And that brings us back to me. So unless something crazy happens, I'm going to win that conflict card. So what I want to do is I want to perhaps try and figure out, whoops, I played this card. I'm going to keep that out of my hand. Oh, this is a trash card. The Seek Allies card I played, it says trash this card. So this card is permanently removed from my deck. I cannot use it anymore. So think what I want to do. Now in my hand I have a dagger card which will allow me to go to a Landsrat place because it has a green pentagon symbol. I have a convincing argument that doesn't have any symbols on it. It just has this bottom part. Now this bottom part only happens during what is called a reveal phase. Now when you have no workers left and you decide to do a reveal phase, you reveal any cards that you haven't played in your hand and you get this bottom part of the card, which is usually used to add combat strength to your conflict, or it gives you these blue diamonds worth of what's called persuasion, which is the currency of the game, and you use persuasion to buy cards from the market. So this convincing argument card, it doesn't have any icons to move workers, it doesn't have any gray this gray bar abilities, which is what happens when you play the card. It only has reveal turn. This card is only useful during a reveal turn. So this card doesn't get used right now. So I have a dagger which will allow me to play in this green area. I have Dune the Desert Planet, which has a yellow triangle, which will let me play on one of these spice spots right here, or go to secure contract, or sell melange. I have diplomacy, which kind of like seek allies, lets me go to one of the 4 factions. The difference is I don't have to trash this card, and that's all I can do. So which one of these things would I like to do? Well, I don't have any Solari, so the dagger is useless because most of the Landsrat places, these places in the green with the green pentagon, they cost Solari, which is these gray discs with the money. So I can't do anything with those. It wouldn't be a bad idea to gain almost sneezed there. Ugh, excuse me. Let's see, I can't go to these 2 spice spots because they cost water, and I already spent my single starting water for the troops here. But I could go to this one and get a single spice. Now later, these spots will get additional spice if nobody goes to them, because of the sandworms. I can go here to just get 3 Solari, or I can play my diplomacy and continue to build up my alliances. I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to play diplomacy, and I'm going to go to secrets and build up my Bene Gesserit reputation by 1. Because I went to a Bene Gesserit spot. Now, a secret spot allows me to draw an intrigue card. Now, intrigue cards are the take that cards of this particular worker placement. They come in 3 different varieties. There's plot, there's combat, and then there's endgame. Now, there's only like 3 or 4 endgame ones, and they have endgame specific requirements on them, and they give you victory points at the end of the game. But the plot ones can be played during your turn, and they'll give you certain benefits and do other things. Combat ones can be played during combat, and they'll usually give you extra troops or allow you to pull out of combat if you feel you're going to lose the combat or whatever like that. Or they'll even give you rewards for winning combat and stuff like that. The one that I drew is Poison Snooper. Look at the top card of your deck. Draw or trash it. You know, it might not be a bad idea to just draw it right away, to play it right away, which I think I'm going to do. was actually... Okay. I'm going to draw it because I'm not ready to trash cards just yet. Actually, you know what? Yeah, I am. I'm going to trash it. So we're going to remove that out of my deck. And this other symbol right here, this little fan of cards with entry cards, means that if there's an opponent with 4 or more entry cards, they would have to give me one at random. That doesn't come into play during a solo game, because as soon as an AI gets 3 entry cards, they trade them in for a point. So that won't be a thing in this particular game. Okay, so we have one more AI card for the Beast. He wants to go to rally troops. Unfortunately, that has already been taken, so we need to draw another card for him. And he is going to the Highliner. Okay, so he moves up 1 on the Spacing Guild track. Now, luckily, and I am super thankful for this, but they don't get the full cascade of 5 troops that they would normally get here. Instead, he only gets 3. Unfortunately for me, those go the way the AI works on a normal playthrough. I mean, if you want to up the difficulty of the game, you can be more. You can play the AI more selective on how they place troops. But what normally happens on a conflict space in an AI game is they put any troops that they get directly into the conflict, and then they put 2 additional ones if they have them in there. So as it stands right now, I'm going to lose that conflict. So he just put in 5 troops into the conflict, outnumbering me 5-3, and that is it. So we go to reveal turns because nobody has any more agents to place. Now the AI gets kind of a pseudo reveal turn, where if they have any troops in the conflict, they would reveal a card from the AI deck, and it might add combat strength to their conflict. Thorvald doesn't have any troops in the conflict, so we're just going to skip him, and we'll go to me, where I get a reveal. So this card has been used for other things, and I reveal, and we'll total my combat strength, which is each troop is worth 2, and that's what this handy dandy mark track down here is for. So I have a total of 6 plus 1 from my dagger. I should have held on to that other dagger, and it wouldn't have made much of a difference. Okay, and then I have a total of 3 persuasion, which means I can buy a card from the market here. Now there are several different types of cards you can buy from the market. I have them all scrunched together, but you would lay them out a little bit differently on a normal game. There's 5 normal cards which come from this standard deck right here, and then there are 3 special cards. They're not really special, but they're like default cards. There's an Arrakis liaison, the Spice Must Flow, and then the Fold Space card, which you can only get from the Fold Space thing. And each card has a number up in its upper left-hand corner or upper right-hand corner, and this is how much persuasion it would cost to buy it. Okay, and the Spice Must Flow card is probably the most valuable card you'll get. It doesn't take you anywhere. There's no icons on it. But when you reveal it, you get a spice, and when you buy it, it gives you a victory point. But it costs 9 to buy. So it's expensive to buy, but it's worth it. So available here in my marketplace, I have a Sardaukar Legion, which is an Emperor card, and it will take me to an Emperor faction spot and a Lance Rad spot, which is this green area up here. it'll give me 2 troops. And that's what will happen if I play it. And during the reveal phase, I can deploy up to 3 troops from my garrison to the conflict. That's not bad. Let's see, we have, it looks like the Reverend Mother Mohaim. I never could pronounce these names very well. Which is an Emperor and a Bene Gesserit card. It will take me to either an Emperor or a Bene Gesserit spot. And the play effect is, if you have another Bene Gesserit card in play, each opponent discards 2 cards. That's not bad. During a reveal phase, it'll give me 2 Persuasion and 2 Spice. I have 2 Space Travel cards, which are Spacing Guild cards, and they'll take me to a Spacing Guild spot. And if I play them, they will let me draw a card. And during reveal, they will give me 2 Persuasion. And then there's a Firm Grip card, which is an Emperor card, which will take me to the Emperor or the Lance Rad. And when I play it, I can spend 2 Solari to move up in one of the other factions. And its reveal effect is, if I have a Emperor Alliance, which means if I have the Emperor Alliance token, I get 4 Persuasion. Well, I only have 3, so I have 2 options to buy. I can get either a Space Travel card, or I can pick up an Arrakis Liaison. I think I'm going to buy a Space Travel card. Spend all 3 of my Persuasion. Now, Persuasion doesn't carry over. So if you don't, anything that you don't spend just gets lost. All right, that's my reveal phase. Now we go to the Beast. The Beast's total power in the conflict is 10. We don't really need to, but according to the rules, we have to. And he gets an additional 2, so 12. Okay. So that was the player turns phase, which is phase 2. Next we go to combat, where we just simply resolve combat. Starting with the first player and then going in turn order, we would play combat cards until every player passed. I don't have any combat cards, and they don't get combat cards, so we just simply resolve it. Obviously, the Beast won. I don't remember how to make decisions for them. They choose the faction in which they have the least. Okay, so we'll just go top to bottom. So they're going to move up with the Emperor. And then they get 2 Solari. And this is where you want to be careful putting troops into the conflict, because any troops that participate in the conflict simply go away. And this is why I didn't dump all my troops into the conflict. Alright, and then I get the second place prize, which is 3 Solari. That's not too bad of a prize. So we reset our combat strengths to 0, take those guys out. Then we go to the Maker phase, and the Maker phase says that any of these spaces with the sandworm icon on them that were not visited get 1 additional spice, as to entice players to visit them in future rounds. And that'll keep happening, so eventually, if nobody visits them, they'll have mass amounts of spice. So then we go to the recall phase, which is everybody just gets their stuff back. So they'll get their dudes back, and the first player marker will actually move to me. And then we go to round start. We start a new round. Alright, we have a new conflict. the prizes available. First place gets an intrigue card and 3 spice, and second place gets 2 spice. Not horrible. Now the deck looks a little big here, but it's actually not. It's only 10 cards, but as per solo play rules, after a certain number of these cards are flipped over, the AI players get their additional worker. So those workers are placed at their spot in the deck. That's why it looks a little funky, or it might look a little funky on the camera. And then I draw 5 new cards. I've only got 4 because I trashed one of my daggers, which I probably shouldn't have done looking back on it now, but what you gonna do, right? Now, just a forewarning, I've played this game a few times, and I've played it a few times solo, and I do okay. I'm not great at it. I suck at engine building games, which this game kind of has a little bit of because of the deck building aspect. Deck builders, world builders, engine building. I suck at that. I am much more an in-the-moment kind of person. So thinking any more than 2 or 3 rounds ahead, my thought processes kind of break down. So if I lose this game today, that's probably why. Alright, so we start with me this time. See, I didn't get what I wanted last time, which was the increase, because I wanted to increase my faction abilities. Okay. Well, let's well, that's okay, because I can kind of do it again this turn. So I'm going to play diplomacy again. Now the question is, do I want to continue on the Fremen or the Bene Gesserit route? See, the Fremen would probably be the wisest choice, because this particular spot right here, Siege Tabor, it requires you to have 2 influence with the Fremen. So I have to be on this spot or higher in order to use it. And this is a very useful spot too, because it'll give you a water. And not very many spots give you water. In fact, there's only 3 on the board. There's Siege Tabor, there's the Highliner, which, as we stated earlier, costs you 6 spice to go to. And then there's Still Suits. The Highliner might be kind of good to work towards. I don't have water to go to Hardy Warriors, so we're going to go to Still Suits. And we're going to go up 1 on that, because we went to a Fremen space, which will give me a victory point. And we'll get a water from that spot. And this is a conflict spot. So I can choose to put 2 of my troops into conflict. And I think I'm going to. Because having that intrigue card would be worth it, and getting spice to work towards possibly getting into the Highliner spot might not be a bad idea. If anything, I can take my spice and go to sell Melange, which has a question mark in its cost, which is a spice cost. And depending on how much spice you dump into it, you can get Solari out of it, which will allow me to possibly buy my Swordmaster, which is my extra worker. Alright, so we're going to move on to the Beasts round. Beast wants to go to Still Suits. Well, too bad, Beast. I just went there. So instead, he's going to go to Wealth, which is here. He moves up 1 on the track, and that's all he does. But he gets a victory point for that, because he's at step 2 on the Emperor Alliance track. Thorvald goes to Hardy Warriors. which is here. Thorvald moves up on the Fremen track, and he gets 2 troops and 2 from his built-up garrison come into play. So he's a player now. Which brings us back to me. Now that he's done that, I have to decide on if I can. I can't combat him. I'm not gonna get first place. There's just no way. So I have to decide on how I want to do this. I can't afford the Great Flat. I don't have enough water. I think what I want to do is I want to work on getting my Solari so I can get my Swordmaster. So the next best spot for that is Secure Contract. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play Signet. Now the Signet Ring is a once card. So given the option, you probably don't want to trash this card. And I'll explain why in a second. Okay. So I'm going to take my guy, I'm going to go to Secure Contract in the Chome spot, which will just give me straight out 3 Solari. So 5, and we'll cash that in. Okay, and it has the Signet Ring icon in the play area right here. Okay, now every house leader that you play has a Signet Ring ability. You can't see it because it's off camera. Well, maybe you can see Thorvald's here. Yeah. Okay. Whenever you play your Signet Ring, you get to activate that special ability. Like Thorvald's here, is he gains a spice whenever it happens. Paul Atreides gets to draw a card, and the Beast gets 1 or 2 troops if he has at least 1 faction alliance. So he would get 1 troop, and then he would get 2 troops if he has an alliance. So I played a Signet Ring, which means I get to activate Paul Atreides' Signet Ring ability, which is to draw a card. So I draw a card, and it's my space travel card. Well, that's no good. Could have used that. That's alright. It might come back around. Alright. So, that's it for me. And then we go to the Beast's turn. The Beast goes to the Hall of Oratory, which is here. And he just gets a troop into his garrison. No big deal. Back to Thorvald. He goes to Selective Breeding, which is a Bene Gesserit spot. Now this spot normally lets you trash a card and then draw 2 cards. For them, since they don't have a deck, that doesn't do them much good. Instead, he just gets to move up on the Bene Gesserit spot. So, we'll go back to my turn. We have a reveal where I set my combat strength, which is only at 4. There's a fly in here. It's really irritating. Okay, and then I reveal. I have 6 persuasion. What do I want to get? Well, the Reverend Mother Mohahim isn't that bad. 2 persuasion and 2 spice is not a bad deal. Power play isn't that bad. The card that took the place of the card that I bought, it has 4 faction abilities, and you gain 2 influence instead of 1 when you go there. It's a trash card though, so it'll go out of play as soon as I use it. So do I want resources, or do I want to go for the quicker think I want the resources, so I can afford the Sardaukar Legion too, though, which will help in combat. And the other Bene Gesserit cards, though, so her playability isn't useful. I think the Sardaukar Legion is the way to go. Now, the Sardaukar were the Emperor's death troops. For those of you who are not in the know of Dune. Okay, so we're going to buy one of those. See how it goes. When you buy cards, they go directly into your discard to be reshuffled into your deck at later turns. Okay, so go to a reveal for the Beast. He doesn't get anything. Earl, he's got an 8 for base strength, and Karthik, which doesn't give him any bonus strength. But that's okay. He doesn't need it. Alright, so now we go to combat, and obviously Thorvald beats me. He gets 3 spice and an intrigue card, which means he's only 1 away from earning a victory point for gaining intrigue cards. And then I get the second place, which is 2 spice. So he loses those troops, I lose those. Combat strength down to 0. Makers. All 3 of our makers get more spice. Okay, now we go to recall. Just trying to... whoops, that's my guy, not beasts. Alright. First player moves down. The beast starts us off. Make sure I got everything in order here. Kind of a lot to kind of go through. Okay. Oh, I need to draw 5 cards. Oh, and we need to reveal a new conflict. So 3 here. Okay. 4 and 5. I've got my signet ring back. Okay, 1 more card until they get their extra worker. Oh, we got our first victory point in the conflict, so that's not going to be good. So our first prize is going to be victory point or discard or trash a card. I don't think you have to perform those, so trashing a card is optional. Our second prize is going to be a water and a spice. Water is very good. Okay, so the beast leads us off with secrets. Everybody's getting in on that Bene Gesserit action. Okay, and then Thorvald. Oh, Thorvald gets his signet ring by going to Arrakis. So he gets a troop, starting off strong in the conflict. He gets the 1 from the card, and like I said, when he goes to a conflict space, he automatically pulls 2 from his garrison. That's how the AI works. And he activates a signet ring, which gives him a spice. Okay, so now me. Well, I got my Spacing Guild card. I don't have enough spice to hit up Highliners, which would be most crucial at this point. Can I get 4 spice? I can. I might be able to... No. Wait, yes. Yes, I can. I can probably pull out this as long as somebody doesn't screw me over. So we'll play my signet ring, which allows me to go to a green pentagon area, a blue circle area, or a yellow triangle area. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Haga Basin, which will give me 4 spice. The 2 base, and then the 2 that's been sitting here, which will give me a total of 6. And it is a conflict zone. I don't have any guys to put in there though. Oh, and it costs me 100 to go there. No problem though. But that is, and I can draw a card because it's a signet ring. Because I played my signet ring. Oh, that's even, no, that's not what I wanted though. Okay, cool. All right, so the beast will go now, and they're gonna harvest spice. So the harvest spice card lets them go to the space with the most bonus spice, and if it's tied, they go to the space with the most spice overall. So they're gonna go to the Great Flats, which will give them 5 spice, just outright. And it's a conflict spot. Now they don't recruit any guys from there, but they just drop 2 into the conflict automatically because it's a conflict spot. Okay, now Thorvald is going to go, and he's going to still suits, which means he's getting more guys in the conflict. Ugh. Thorvald moves up 1 on the Fremen spot, which will move him to a victory point. And because it's a conflict spot, he moves 2 more guys into spot. Whew. This is very appropriate considering as how the first place spot is a victory point. Everybody's trying to get to that spot. Now for me, I'm lucky I bought this Space and Guild card, because what I want to do is I'm going to play it. I'm going to go to Highliners. Let me move up 1. It'll cost me all of my spice that I have, but that's okay, because it'll give me 5 troops. And I get to draw a card. Not quite the card I wanted. Damn. Is there any other way I could have played that? Nope. That's it. And 2 water. I get 2 water from that too. So that'll be useful in later rounds. Yes, I am dumping all those guys in there. Okay, so now we go to reveal turns. Poor beast has only got 4, but he's going to get bonus nothing. Okay with that. He's got 10 and a bonus of 1. Ooh. And then my reveal. And I've got a base of 10 as well, and also 1, which means nobody will get that victory point, because when you get ties for first, both players just get second instead. Because I revealed a dagger which has a combat value of 1, so that gives me my 11. That's okay, I stopped him from getting it. And I have a persuasion of 3 and 5. I think this time I am going to buy that power play card though. Thus that will come in handy for increasing. There's another Bene Gesserit card. Now it might be worth considering buying that one and the Reverend Mother Mohaid. Okay. So now we go to combat and we just figure out who won what. I win water and spice. Same thing with Thorvald. And Beast wins nothing because there is no prize for third place. Did I move up one on the Space and Guild track? I think I did. Well, if I didn't, oh well. Forgot to do it, that's my own bad. Okay, go to the makers. Any spot that does not have an agent gets one. So now this spot right here is worth 4 by itself. Doesn't cost any water to go to either. Then we go to recall. 2. First player goes up to Earl. And then we reveal our new conflict, which means that the Beast and Earl get their workers, and I draw 5 cards and start this mess all over again. Now I need to work on getting my last worker because things are going to get hairy. Our conflict rewards this time. Our first place one is an increase in 2 of the factions. And second place is a water and 2 Solari. Okay. All right. So yeah, this is going to be, oh, I can't even do that this turn. I don't have any cards for it. I don't have the cards to get to that spot. Okay. Well, I don't get to go first anyway. Earl does. Well, he's going here, and he's getting 4. So, put 2 there because he's trading in for a victory point. And he's putting in 2 for the conflict because he's got a conflict space. Oops, forgot to reset all this to 0. Nobody has conflict or combat strength yet. Alright, for me, yeah, I might as well set up. We'll go to power play. Power play lets me go to one of the 4 faction spaces and gain 2 influence instead of 1. But I gotta trash it, which means it removes it from my deck. So, which one do I want to do? Which one would be the most beneficial? The Emperor spot. I'm going to go there, get 2, which will put me up 1, get me a victory point, and 2 Solari. That will set me up for getting my worker next turn. Okay, the Beast. Fold space. Too bad they can't use fold space cards, but he is moving up 1 on that and getting a victory point. Earl is going to Arrakis. Right here, he's getting a troop and moving one, the last one in his garrison. All the troops that he stacked in the beginning of the game are finally gone. And he's activating his signet ring to give him an additional spice. Okay, I want to get freaking intrigue cards because I'm sick of being underpowered. So I'm gonna go to the Bene Gesserit spot, Secrets, get an additional victory point, and draw an entry card. The beast is going to go to selective breeding, get a victory point themselves from the Bene Gesserit, and then Earl's going to go himself. Not go to Arrakis again because he can't. Instead, he's going to go to Karthik, the next door neighbor. Get a troop. And that's it for that card. Me, I'm going to do a reveal phase. And I've got 4 persuasion. And that's it. 4. Like I said, it's probably worthwhile getting the Bene Gesserit going here. Or maybe not. If I can work on getting the Emperor. What is this? Missionaria Protectiva. You have another Bene Gesserit card. All these Bene Gesserit and Emperor cards in play. These 3 cards right here play off of each other really well. So maybe I'll work on getting those. I can actually get both of those, so I'm going to do that. I'm just going to buy both of those for 4. That's what I had, right? 2, 3, 4. Yes. Okay. So I bought the Bene Gesserit Sister, which is just a simple Bene Gesserit card. Lets me go to any Bene Gesserit faction spot and a Landsrad cancel spot. But during the reveal phase, I can get 2 persuasion or 2 extra combat, and the Missionaria Protectiva, which lets me go to any purple circle spot. And if I have another Bene Gesserit card in play when I play it, I get to move up a faction spot. Just an alliance on any faction, which isn't bad. And I'm working towards getting the Reverend Mother Mohaid. So, I mean, I didn't have to buy both of those together. I could have waited to see what replaced one of the other ones, but that's fine by me. And then Beast's last real turn, Harvest Spice. There is no bonus spice out, so he wants to go to a different spot, which is Conspire. He's building up his garrison. And moving up 1 on the Emperor spot, on the Emperor Alliance track. Okay. Let me shuffle these up real quick so we can do Earl's reveal for his combat strength. We all know he's getting the 2 factions, but still, got to reveal the card to keep the deck fresh and moving. Yeah, I ordered the deluxe upgrade kit to this game, and it was supposed to come out in July. Then it got delayed to August, then it got delayed to September. I understand there's this weird shipping thing going on, but it's kind of annoying. In fact, I'm going to turn this upside down just so that when I reveal the cards, they go right. Okay, so 2. So he's got a combat strength of 12. Didn't have to mark it, but so he's going to move 2 in the lowest one that he's in. So definitely, I mean, he's going to move 1 and 2 of the lowest ones he is in. So Spacing Guild and the Emperor, because top to bottom. So he moves up 1 victory point. Pretty tight game right now. And then that's it. He loses all those guys. All those guys basically fighting amongst themselves to impress everybody. I mean, I basically had a gladiatory match. A gladiator match just to improve tensions between the Emperor and Spacing Guild. Alright, makers. We got one in the Great Flats here, and then another in Haga Basin. And then we're going to recall. Hopefully this turn I can get a card that will let me get my other worker. And then I am now first player. One. There it is. There it is twice. Cool. All right. Our new conflict card. We have first place will get the Mentat, an intrigue card, and 2 Solari. While second place will get the intrigue card and 2 Solari. Okay. The Mentat's not a bad thing, because the Mentat is basically an extra worker. So it might not be bad to bid on that combat if I can. I don't think I can, though. I mean, I might be able to. No. No. I might be able to. I might be able to. Alright, well, first things first. Play my signet ring. Definitely going to go here, spend my 8 Solari. I'm going to get my last worker. And then draw a card because of my signet ring. Okay. The Beast is going to Hardy Warriors. I was actually kind of hoping to go to that spot. That's okay. So he moves up 1 on that, drop 2, and get 2 additional in there. Then Earl is going to rally troops. There he goes again, building up his nonsense. Now I need no, I couldn't have got to that space anyway. That was no, I'm not going to be able to. Yeah, I think this turn I'm going to have to sit combat out. What I need is what I need is more options. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So. I'm going to play my dagger. I'm going to go to Hall of Oratory. Place a troop in there. Now the Hall of Oratory gives me a troop into my garrison, and it gives me 1 persuasion during my reveal phase. So that'll be nice. Because what it might do is it might free up another one of my cards for play. Okay. Beast is going to selective breeding. Might get that at the Bene Gesserit faction. Might get that Bene Gesserit token right there. Earl. is going to Arrakis and getting a troop and pulling in 2 others and getting the spice from his signet ring. And then me, I am playing my Sardaukar Legion. I'm going to go to the Emperor spot, the Wealth. I'm going to get 2 Solari. And get 2 troops into my garrison. Now I think that'll let me put both of those into play. I'm not exactly sure. Let me check the iconography here. Yeah, no. It only happens if I go to a conflict spot. It doesn't happen even if it's on a card. Okay. So that's all I'm doing there. The beast is going to harvest spice. So he's actually going to trade it in for 1 point. And that is a conflict spot, so he's moving that in. So yeah, I wouldn't have wanted to be in this conflict anyway. Same thing with Earl. There is no one. Can't go to Arrakis again. It's going to Secrets. Again, the Bene Gesserit. Bene Gesserit witches. Okay. And that's it. So I'm going to do my reveal. I have actually a total of 5 plus the one here, 6, which means I can afford my Reverend Mother. Make sure I'm pronouncing her name right. I keep saying Mohaid, but it's Mohaim. Okay, the beast's total strength is 10 plus 4 for 14. He's got 6 plus 3 is 9. We can actually take these off. We've already determined that. And then we go to conflict. So red is going to get that, that, and that. Yellow gets an entry card, which trades in for a point, and 2 Solari. Makers. Okay, recall. Now this turn the beast has the Mentat. So he's going to have an extra round. Oopsie. Shuffle those up. Okay. New conflict. Point. And water for our first place. And water and spice for our second place. Was that Peter? Piter? No, guild administrator. I don't care about that. Okay. Alright, let's see what the beast does. Hall of Oratory. We're going to use the Mentat right off just to get it out of the way. Just throw us one in his garrison. Earl Thorvald goes to Fold Space. Thorvald might win. Oh, I forgot to draw my 5 cards. Hey. That was my pug, Bellatrix the pug, letting us all know that she's alive and kicking, which I appreciate. All right. I'm not unhappy about this. I'm not entirely pleased, but I'm not unhappy. I'm going to play my Sardaukar Legion card, and I'm going to go... actually, no, I'm not. Because if I can go to Dune, the desert planet, and go to the Great Flat, spend 2 water for the space, get 5 spice, and then put 2 troops in. That would be great. Okay, the beast is going to Arrakis. He's going to get 1 troop and put 2 in, and he can actually put another 1 in because he just got 1 from his signet ring, and he doesn't have any faction alliances, so he doesn't get an additional 1, but that's good. Earl Thorvald. Oh, he got the Highliner space. So he's going to go up 1 on that. And then he's going to get 3, 4, 5. Because it is a conflict space. And then I'm going to play my Sardaukar Legion, which will allow me to go to an Emperor spot. And I'm going to go to Conspire, which will cost me 4 spice. That's okay. And I'll get 2 from the card, 2 from the space, and then I will move up 1 from going to the Emperor spot, which will give me a victory point for claiming the Alliance token, and 2 more troops for the bonus for moving into Emperor's favor. Whoops, not there yet though. And an intrigue card. And that, it's beautiful. The intrigue card that I just drew can change this combat right here. I do need to make sure that I can play those. Do I have to play those during a reveal phase? Is what it is. Because plot cards, because this plot card is called Rapid Mobilization. Deploy any number of garrison troops to the conflict. So if that is actually true during a reveal turn, because I can wait to see what happens with the rest of these guys before I decide to jump in with all my guys and try and kick their butt. So, Beast. It's going to go to Still Suits. Moves up 1. But it's a conflict, so he doesn't have any troops in the garrison anyway, so that's no problem. Earl Thorvald, that doesn't help him. Going to Hall of Oratory, not going to do that. It's going to go to Karthik instead. we're just going to get 1 troop. And that's it. Okay. Now it's me. Now I have to decide on how I want to proceed. I'll hold on to that. So are there any cards out there that I want to buy? I'm falling behind is what's happening. I need to really pick up my game here. I've been concentrating too hard on other things. This is usually how it happens. So what do I want to do? Well, I want to win that because I need the victory points, but I also need to, I think I'm going to play, nope, can't play that. The spots are taken. That's not going to do me any good. The only card I can play is this one. Oh, I forgot to get 5 Solari for that. So I might as well actually just play that. So I'm going to play my Bene Gesserit's sister. I'm going to use the Landsrat icon. And I'm going to go here to the High Council, which costs 4 or 5 Solari. Okay. And you take your green circle token and you put it on the High Council seat. Now what this means is that for the rest of the game, during my reveal phase, I have 2 permanent persuasion. You only need to go to this spot once per game, just like the Swordmaster. In fact, it probably would have been better just to move the Swordmaster spot up here. But, whatever. Because then the once per game slots would have been up here, and you could have just ignored this top part of the game once you did it. Alright, Beast's last turn. Conspire. Can't do that. I did that. Conspire. He really wants to go there. Karthik. Can't do that. Harvest Spice. Can't do that. He's getting a lot of cards that he can't do. Karthik. Can't do that. Fold Space. Can't do that. Harvest Spice. Can't do that. Wealth. He can do that. Okay. Now, he can't take that from me until he goes above me. So, we're on equal terms. However, he does get 2 more troops to his garrison. So. Shuffle this deck up so we can do our reveal stuff. Alright, so Earl gets his reveal. He starts off with combat strength of 12. Ugh. And it comes to an additional 2, so 14. So me, I'm going to play Rapid Mobilization. I'm going to put in 4 what is that, 2, that's 12. I can tie it, and I'll put in 1 more. So that's 8 times 2 is 16, right? Yeah. No, that's not right. 7 times 2 is 14. Actually, I don't need to put in that last one. 12. Yeah. Okay. So I want to save some for later. And there's a reason. There is a reason. And then poor Beast, he gets, what is his base? His base is 6. And there's no card that's going to let him catch up, especially Hall of Oratory. Okay. So now, oh, and I've got 4, 6, 6. 6 for buy. 6 for buy. I think I'm going to buy Firm Grip. And let's see what else comes out. Yeah, see, probably could have waited for that. That's okay. And I'll buy a Scout because that'll be worth it for combat. So, okay. Now we go to combat. I'm going to play a combat card, which is Ambush. Simply gives me +4 to combat. That's why I went lower, because I didn't need to waste all those troops for it. So, these 6 guys will go away. Earl's guys go away. Beast's guys go away. I get a victory point. Yay! And a water. And then yellow gets a spice and a water. And I believe he trades in on the water. Water is 3. Yep, trades in on the water. So 3 water equals a victory point. Getting close. Okay, but this is where the game ramps up, because now we're in stage 3 conflict cards. A lot of those, I think 3 of the 4 are worth 2 victory points apiece. So 2, 3. Oh, I forgot to do makers. Shit. I was on this maker spot. Yes? Yes. Whatever. That's how we'll work it. That's what happens when you skip phases. Usually I'm a very by-the-book, order of precedent kind of person. So, ooh, Stilgar. That'd be a cool card to have. Alright. Recall. I already did that. Shouldn't have, but I did. Okay, Earl is the new person. Conflict. Oh, see? And now that I said that, the new conflict card doesn't have 2 victory points, but it does have 2 faction increase. Faction increase of 2 and an intrigue card. And then second place gets an intrigue card and 3 spice, which can be very useful. Okay. I think we are ready to go. So we'll start with Earl. He's our first player. He's going straight to Karthik. Getting ready for the combat. That's all he gets, though. Whoops. 0, 0, 0. All right, me. Play the Reverend Mother. That's too excited about this hand, but I am going to go to Secrets, gain a well, I already did it, so move up one. I might as well play that right away. Move up one on the Know Their Ways. Move up one on the Fremen faction. That's all it does. Can't benefit from the Reverend Mother Mohaim benefit yet. I don't have any other things, so. Alright, and then Beasts wants to go to Karthik. Unfortunately, Earl beat him there. So he wants to harvest spice instead. Go there and get 3. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, Earl again wants to harvest the other spice. He just wants spice, which is enough to trade in for a point. Oh boy. And me. I'm going to play Missionaria Protectiva. I'm going to go to Siege Tabor. And I'm going to get a troop and put 2 in. And a water. And this will let me, if I have another Bene Gesserit card in play, move up one faction 1. I have the Reverend Mother, which is a Bene Gesserit card. I have to decide which one I want to do. I think I want to do the Bene Gesserit, because she'll give me an entry card. So that'll give me the Alliance token for the Bene Gesserit and an entry card, which will help during combat, should I need it. Okay. And I drew Master Tactician, which will give me a +3 combat rating, or I can retreat up to 3 of my troops. So if I want to just pull out and see if I can win a later combat, I can try and do that. So, Beast's turn. He wants to go to Arrakis. And he's going to get a troop and put all 3 of those in combat. And activate his signet ring, which will give him another troop. But he can't pull it in, because he only gets to recruit 1 and pull in an additional 2. So one of those has to stay in the garrison. Okay, Earl's turn. Last turn for him. Harvest spice, that's not happening. It's going to conspire though, which will move him 1 up on the Emperor track and put 2 into his garrison. Me. Well, I do have Master Tactician, but I wanted to try and pull out another point. Don't have the spice for that. I do have the water for that, though, which will bring me... I'll do that. I'm going to play Diplomacy, which will let me go to a faction spot. And I'm going to go to Hardy Warriors, which will cost me a water. And I'll get 2 troops. And I'm going to put... I will return. Okay. 2 troops. Which I put into the fray, and I got to determine whether or not I'm going to put any more in. One more, I think, right? Yeah, one more. Okay, and then that'll move me up one on the Fremen track, which will give me the Fremen thing. Move me up 1 point. Actually, my points are off. I should have 2, 4, 6. No, that's right. No, it's right. Never mind. And I get an additional water for that. So I got the water I spent on that back for being in favor with the... every time you get in favor with one of the factions, as soon as you get into this little gold part, you get a little benefit from it. From the Fremen, you get a water. From the Bene Gesserit, you get an entry card. From the Spacing Guild, you get 3 Solari. And then from the Emperor, you get 2 troops. So... I'll do that. And then... I think that was it. There, got the 2 troops, spent the water, moved up, did that. Done. Beast. Wants to go to Hardy Warriors. Good thing I went there first. But instead, he's going to go to Highliner and wreck everything. So he moves up 1, and he gets 3 guys. Directly in, pulls this last one in. Okay. That's that. Okay. Now we go to the reveals. Earl, it's almost not worth revealing for him. 2. Oops. And he gets 3. For me, what do I got? 10. What is that? 8, 16. I can't beat that. No, that's 7, 14. Yeah, I'm not even going to. Wait, what's that? 5, 10, 11, 14. I could tie him, rob him of the. No, because he's going to pull out a thing. So, I'm gonna, yeah. I actually have 11 for my reveal, so I can wait. And then seven, 14, 16. Yep. That's definitely unfortunate. Okay, so like I said, I can wait. Oh, and I've got a 1 buy. Oh, I've got 3. Sorry, 3 buy. Oh, I forgot to put them in tab back last time. 3 buy. Is that going to help me get another space travel card? Yeah, might as well. What the hell? Move up on the Spacing Guild track. Okay. And then during combat, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to play Master Tactician, but I'm going to take 3 of my troops out so I can be ready for the next turn. which would take 6 away from me, so that puts me in 5. So I still get second place, which is that and 3 spice. And that's 1 point for red because they just cashed in entry cards. And so 1, 2. Okay. Oh boy. The beast really nailed it there. Okay. All right. Makers. Let's do it right this time. Let's reset these to 0 because combat is over. Makers and then recall. Not get ahead of ourselves. I may lose this. Yellow is definitely kicking butt. Earl Thorvald is kicking some serious booty. I am the first player. I have the combat advantage this turn, but how long will that last, right? Okay, let's see here. 4, 5, not exactly a stellar hand. Next conflict, 2 points. Battle for Karthik. You get 2 points and control of Karthik. When you gain control of a spot, we'll take one of the banners and place it in this little banner spot. And then anytime anybody goes there, even yourself, you'll get a benefit there. For Karthik, you'll get a Solari, and for the only one that changes is the basin, which is you'll get a spice. So those are the only 3 spots you can actually control. Second place will get an entry card and 3 spice. Okay, so what are we going to do? Well, I need that spot. I need spice and troops and yeah. Okay, I got a little bit of a double whammy this turn that I can do, I think. So I'm gonna play my signet ring, and I'm gonna go to the Great Flat. It's gonna cost me 2 water. It's all right though. It's gonna give me 4 spice. I'll just trade in for a 5er. And it's a combat space, so I can put in 2 troops. Okay, the beast is rallying troops. It's getting ready to pump them out. Earl is going to Karthik. So he's got 3 in the conflict already. Okay, back to me. Now this is why I wanted to do what I did. I'm going to go to play Diplomacy, and I'm going to the Highliner. Now, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to move up 1 on the Space and Guild track, which will give me a point. I'm going to spend my 6 spice for the space. I'm going to get 5 troops and 2 water. And what else am I gonna? How many of those troops am I gonna put in? I'm gonna put in 5. Tired of getting spanked. No, I'm not. I'm going to put in 3, 4. I'm going to put in 4. Okay. Beast. Oh, see, I just lost a point because he went to conspire. Moves up 1, takes the Imperial thing from me. So he and I basically switch spots on the point track, and he gets 2 troops from that. Earl is going to harvest spice. No, he's not. He wants the Bene Gesserit. Goes to secrets. Moves up 1. Me. Don't really have a whole lot. None of these cards are really worth anything. They're out there. You know? That's what sucks. I'm gonna play Reconnaissance. I'm gonna go to the research station, which costs 2 water, and I'm going to draw 3 cards. 1, 2, 3. Okay, Beast. Hardy Warriors, putting in troops. A lot of those troops that he went to Still Suits. Woo! Still putting out troops, but still. And he took the Fremen thing from me too. Damn. Gain a point, lose a point. Punk, punk, punk. And then Earl wants to go to Still Suits too, but he can't. Instead, he's going to go to Hall of Oratory. Drops a troop into his garrison. Okay. Alright, now we go to reveal. This is actually going to be an interesting round. I have a reveal of 2, 4, 6, 8, and 9. And I can deploy up to 3 troops from my garrison to the conflict. I don't think I want to do that because I actually have enough troops in there to, I think, readily win this. That's 6 and 12. But it means I can buy a Spice Must Flow card, which I'm going to, which will give me a point, help me catch up. Because like I said earlier, they are expensive, they cost 9, but they have a one-time acquire effect. As soon as you buy one, you get a victory point. It's a picture of the spice worm there, sandworm. So, yeah. So we're going to do the reveals for the Beast now. He's got 4, 7 for his combat, and then Earl, he's got 6 and 7. Or did I do that backwards? No, that's right. They tied for second, which means they get nothing. So that's cool. So I gain control of Karthik by putting my banner here, and then anytime anybody goes there, even myself, I'll get a Solari. There's only a few rounds left in the game anyway. As soon as this deck game's over. So. but I do get 2 victory points. So if I can find a way to possibly get back my factions, I can probably pull this victory out. Okay, makers. We've got the Haga Basin and the Imperial Basin right there, with extra spice, ready to go. Recall. Beast, right there, ready to go. Earl Thorvald, ready to go. Okay, ready, start. Battle for Imperial Basin. Another 2 victory point card and control of it. This late in the game, control is kind of irrelevant, but 2, 3, 4, 5 could mean a difference. All right. Oh, first player is now the Beast. Let's see what happens. Okay, Beast starts us off by going to selective breeding, and he gets an intrigue card for that. Oops, not supposed to look at those. That's okay. And then Earl is going to go. He wants wealth. Apparently he gets 2 troops for getting into the favor of the Emperor. Now me, obviously, I want to increase my standing with my factions, and I want to do combats. So maybe save that card. Ooh, I got. Ugh. Not. His hand is not looking well. Let's go ahead and, well, that's not going to work. Let's play Scout. And we're going to go to Arrakis, which will give me a troop. And then I can put 2 more in and allow me to draw a card. Ah, damn. The card isn't going to help. Okay, the Beast is going to fold space. They move up and they gain that. Oh boy. Okay, Earl is going to Arrakis. He can't because I am there, so we got to reshuffle these up. Yes, you guys come on and ruin everything with your snorty, snorty snorts. My dogs, pugs, so they make a lot of noise. so he wants to rally troops. Setting up. Okay, so I play Dune, the desert planet. Go here for 3. It costs me a water to do that. And I'm going to move my last troop in. Well, it might. Okay. Beast, Hall of Oratory. Gets a troop in his garrison. Whoops, that's mine. And then Earl goes to Hardy Warriors. Yeah, see, he just 2 and 2, and then 1 up here. Alright, now me, for my last turn. Yeah, see, I kind of hosed myself. Yeah, I wasn't paying attention. Make sure... See what I mean by how I suck at this kind of stuff, this engine building crap? That's what I wanted to do. Actually requires me to have another agent, and I can't get it because I messed up. Actually, no, I didn't. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. I missed an important link. Yeah. Alright, so we're going to play the Reverend Mother Moline. We're going to go to an Emperor space. I'm going to spend 4 of our stuff, move up 1, get 2 troops into our garrison, 5 Solari, and then 1 infantry card. And then that's it. Okay. So we go to the reveals. The Beast doesn't reveal anything. He's not in the combat. He's got 8 plus 1 is 9. I've got 8 plus 1 is also 9. I might as well play this to move myself up 1 on the Bene Gesserit track, because I think the game's going to end right here. Yeah, it's going to end whoever wins this combat. I reveal, I've only got 3 to buy anything, and I'm not going to buy anything, so I don't have the Emperor Alliance thanks to the Beast, so that card is completely worthless. Alright, so we go to combat. Here's where I have the edge, though. I do have an edge here because during combat, I'm going to play this combat card, which is Private Army, spend 2 spice, which I do have, and gain 5, which will put me up to 14. Okay. So I win first place, which will give me 2 victory points. 1, 2. And then I also gain control of the Imperial Basin. I lose all my troops. He gets 5 spice, which isn't enough to trade anything in on. He loses that. We go to Makers. And then we recall. I'm just doing it. I believe the game is over, though. All right. So, go to recall, check for end game, which if I am correct, if somebody has reached 10 points, whoever has the most points wins. End game intrigue cards, which I don't think anybody has. I'll check that. Oh, they can't resolve that anyway. They had one, but they can't resolve it because every time they get 7, it goes away. So. Okay, yeah, I actually managed to win, but it was a very close game. Now, if I was playing against a human player, I probably would have gotten screwed because of my mistake. For some reason, I thought I had an extra worker when I did not. I was planning on trying to work it so that I could have played Missionaria Protectiva first, and then worked it so that I could get a couple of my faction tokens back from the beast, which would have moved me up another couple. Yeah. So, yeah. But it all balances out in the end, I think, because ultimately the AI's ability to transfer in resources for points kind of simulates them spending their intrigue cards for surprise rounds and things like that, because they got points where they shouldn't have, where I could have probably gotten points than I wouldn't have. I mean, right here, if I could trade in, I have 7 Solari right here. If I could trade in resources for points, that's a victory point for me right there. But I can't do that, so. Yeah, so it ended up, I had control of Karthik and Imperial Basin, but nobody went there because, like I said, at the end of the game, the control isn't really a factor, I think. But yeah, near the end, I just wanted to work on getting those alliance tokens back. All 4 of them were in play at the end there. And we had one more round left. One more. After this card would have been gone, the end game would have been triggered. And it was the battle for Arrakis, which is right there. So, and you can be sure that I would have worked hard to try and get that too. Because, yeah. So that is Dune Imperium. I hope you all enjoyed watching me play the game solo. For me, there's a little bit of confusion dealing with the House Hagal deck, which is what they call the AI deck, and the 2 guys. Sometimes I get the order mixed up, or if I'm distracted by For example, my phone ringing, I get kind of mixed up on what I'm doing or what's going on. But overall, I would say that this is actually a very good solo experience. For anybody looking for a game that they can play solo, this is one that's pretty fun. One thing to keep in mind is that when you do play solo, the Paul Atreides and one of the other house leaders is not. You can't use them as AIs because their ability can't be used. With the signet ring ability can't be used because all leaders have two abilities. They have a passive ability. They have a passive ability and a signet ring ability, and the AIs don't use the passive abilities, but they do use the signet ring abilities, as we saw during my playthrough. So one of the cards activates their signet ring ability. But two of the leaders you can't use. It's Paul Atreides and I believe his wife. And then up here, there's a little complexity level, but that's mostly for solo player, and it's rated 1 to 3 little dots. Some of them are more complex to play than others. Paul, I don't really like Paul's abilities. I don't think they're that great. His ability is, I didn't even use his passive ability, which is to look at the top card of the deck, and then his discipline, which is his signet ring ability, to look or to draw the card, to draw a card. So you get to kind of look and then decide whether or not you want to use your signet ring. I don't find it all really that useful. Drawing cards is extremely useful. Knowing what it is, I don't really care. You're going to want to draw cards no matter how you look at it, because you're going to want to have options. Whether or not you find those options useful or not, that's entirely a different bag of peanuts. But yeah, so that was Dune Imperium. A great solo game, a great multiplayer game. It only plays up to 4, so keep that in mind when inviting friends over to play, if you decide to get it. The deluxe upgrade pack, I think it's cool. I bought into it and I got it. Is it necessary? I don't think so. I think the components it comes with are fine. It comes with these little wooden cubes. I like wooden cubes. I do not like plastic cubes. I think plastic cubes kind of suck. Well, not all the time. Certain games they're okay. I bought Abomination, and I didn't like the plastic cubes. I didn't like how they felt. I didn't like how they worked, or just because of the way I stored it, I didn't like how they felt. And the other meeples in there are wood, so it was bizarre that it came with these grating plastic cubes with these wooden meeples. I didn't like it. I think I put in too many cards in there. Anyway, so yeah, thanks for joining me here at GoblinHQ, where we play games. Till next time, I'll catch you all on the flip side.